14 games down, just one to go, a national title on the line. It's been a long season to say the very least, but the Mount Union Purple Raiders are back in the Stagg Bowl once more. My name is Jacob Buttar, and I'm here to give you a rundown on how your Mount Union Purple Raiders find themselves back in the Stagg Bowl once again. Taking a look at each week, we will feature different interviews as well as actual calls of the biggest plays of the season. Without further ado, let's take a look at the Raiders season in review. Week 1 saw the Raiders cruise to a dominant 65-0 victory over the Defiance Yellow Jackets, as the Raiders dominated both offensively and defensively. However, the big play in this one came via special teams. Linebacker Landon Jenkins blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown for the exclamation point in Week 1. We caught up with Landon and discussed the blocked punt a little bit later to see his thoughts on the play.
I mean, it was punt safe, so technically it wasn't supposed to completely rush. Like, I was supposed to put some pressure on them, make sure they punt the ball, but I mean, the punter was just holding it, so I was like, I was looking at him, I'm like, are you gonna punt it? Or like,
you gotta go for it.
I was there, so I just took the opportunity, blocked it, bounced right off the ground in my hands. Yeah.
Week 2 saw the Raider offense and defense dominate once more to a 55-7 victory over the Marietta Pioneers to open up OAC play. Braxton Plunk threw 6 touchdowns in the victory, as 4 different receivers had a receiving touchdown and 5 eclipsed the 60-yard mark. Here's Jaden Manley talking about the depth of the Raiders' receiving core and how everybody's able to get a slice of the pie.
So, I just, being part of those receiver groups, compared to anything, it doesn't change, honestly. It's just, we're talented. It doesn't matter. We try to be perfect. We have a great coach, Coach Collins. He always sets the standard that, we have to be perfection. We have to be great. We have to do what we have to do and do our job, So at the end of the day, each receiver group, we just do what we got to do to be the best on the field. Playmakers, as we always say.
Week 3 saw the second Mount Union shutout of the season to go along with another dominant offensive display as the Raiders cruised to a 59-0 victory over Muskingum in their first road game of the season. The highlight in this one comes from Wayne Ruby Jr., who finished with 8 receptions for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ruby ended the first half with this big 76-yard receiving touchdown. And interestingly enough here, gentlemen, the Raiders come out passing on a deep ball. Wayne Ruby with the great catch, and he is gone, and Wayne Ruby is going to take it into the end zone for a 76-yard touchdown. There is a penalty flag on the field. In Week 4, the Raiders pitched their third shutout of the season with a 45-0 victory over the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Once again, Wayne Ruby Jr. led the Raiders with video game-like stats with 9 receptions for 153 yards and 4 touchdowns. Here's a clip from his 4th and final touchdown of the afternoon. Raiders Plunk drops back to pass, and he's got a man wide open. It's Wayne Ruby Jr. for the 4th time this afternoon. Plunk finds Ruby in the end zone for 6, and the Raiders continue to roll here with yet another touchdown. Week 5 saw the Raiders do battle with the nationally ranked Heidelberg Student Princes, and in a defensive battle, the Raiders prevailed 28-6 over Heidelberg, thanks to another strong performance by the defense. With the biggest play of the afternoon, here's safety Ian Sexton coming up with the clinching interception. Wide receiver and Dimitri Pennick on an island to the right. Treharn looks over towards his left side, and that pass is going to be intercepted right there by the Purple Raiders. The big play by Ian Sexton inside the red zone comes up with the big turnover. Week 6 brought the Raiders another road victory, this time a 49-14 win over the Capital Comets. The defense, led by Rossi Moore's 3 sacks, dominated once more, but it was Wayne Ruby Jr. once again coming up with the highlight in this one. Ruby tacked on 3 touchdowns in this performance, as this 58-yard touchdown reception was the big highlight. See if the Raiders can take advantage here as they just get the play off and fires a pass across the middle. Plunk does to Wayne Ruby Jr., and Ruby's going to have the first down and more. Wayne Ruby crosses the 50, crosses the 40, to the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Purple Raiders. Wayne Ruby Jr. makes something out of just a quick slant route right there, Gabe. A 58-yard pitch and catch. Wayne Ruby, what else can you say but just wow right there?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Just took a little slant or in route on 3rd and 9. He was 5 yards from the first down right there, and there were 2 defenders within at least 5 yards of him. He's able to turn the corner, ran probably 150 yards there since he came all the way across field and all the way up it, but
The Raiders returned home in Week 7 to win 63-3 in dominant fashion over the Wilmington Quakers. In the victory, the Raiders ran for 326 yards and made some big plays defensively. The biggest play of this game came early in this one as cornerback Josh Jones secured his second career pick six.
Here for Dixon and company. Dixon hit as he throws, and that's going to be intercepted, and it's a pick six for Josh Jones. Josh Jones takes it to the house, reads the route perfectly, and right on cue. Gabe, we just talked to Josh Jones about his pick six in Purple Raiders sit down from Marietta against Marietta last year. Takes it to the house this time, read the play perfectly. Purple Raider defense, another big play.
Yeah, and right as he is throwing it, Rossi Moore destroyed the quarterback there. Adam Dixon got lit up. Still, he made the throw. Just Josh Jones made a perfect read on the ball. Jumped right in front of the Wilmington receiver and took it to the house. Didn't have much to go, but what an amazing play there by the Mount Union defense.
The Raiders pitched their fourth shutout win of the season in Week 8 with a 59-0 victory on the road over Otterbein. Jaden Manley returned home to Columbus, Ohio to finish with 4 receiving touchdowns in the win, and for the second straight week, the Raiders came away with a pick six, this time from cornerback Derek Bradley. Bradley and safety Jesse Vale sat down and chatted with WRMU to discuss the chemistry of the secondary and their ability to make big plays.
Well, like Jesse said, we have guys around us that come to practice, work hard, are able to be in positions to make plays. Plus, we all bond, like, other than practice, we all get along, so that definitely helps us get along well on the field.
Yeah, trust is a big thing in the secondary. Yeah, if you don't trust a guy next to you to switch off or whatever coverage you're running, then it's going to hurt you. So having that trust is huge.
The Raiders came back home in Week 9 and defeated their arch rivals, the John Carroll Blue Streaks, 34-28. As in the victory, Braxton Plunk threw for 367 yards and 3 touchdowns, while wide receiver Jaden Manley had 161 receiving yards and Mount Union's longest touchdown of the year on a 80-yard touchdown reception. Here it is, live on the call from Karis Stadium.
Plunk drops back to pass. It's a quick screenplay once again to Manley, and Manley makes one man miss, and Jaden Manley is off to the races across the 50, to the 40, to the 30, down the sidelines at the 20, at the 10, and it's a touchdown. Jaden Manley, 80-yard hitch and catch on the screenplay. That was really all Jaden Manley on that play.
It was a Mount Union miracle in Week 10 as the Raiders won in walk-off fashion 23-21 against the Bolden Wallace Yellow Jackets up in Berea, Ohio. After losing a 17-0 lead in the fourth quarter, Braxton Plunk connected with wide receiver Wayne Ruby Jr. on a Hail Mary pass deflected off the defender's helmet as time expired. Here is that legendary call.
This loss or win, 4 seconds to go, do or die for Mount Union in the hopes of saving this final season. As Plunk starts scrambling to the right, ball goes deep, it is up in the air, short, and will be tipped, but caught! Wayne Ruby Jr. touchdown! Wayne Ruby Jr. touchdown! Wayne Ruby Jr. touchdown! No way! Wayne Ruby Jr. touchdown! Mount Union wins the game!
The Raiders open up postseason play in Week 11 with a dominant 51-0 win over the Salisbury Seagulls. The Raiders held the Seagulls' high-powered rush attack to just 57 yards as the team overall for Mount Union ran for close to 225 yards in the victory. Offensive linemen Mason Fortner and Carson Barrett talked about the Raiders' playoff mindset prior to the victory.
So, to make the playoffs, you got to basically, be undefeated almost. So every game is almost a playoff game. You can't lose. You got to just keep moving on. And, facing some tougher opponents these last stretch of the week will get us prepared and, just keep our focus good for the next 7 weeks coming. So.
Yeah, like Mason said, these next 2 games are definitely 2 of the best teams in the conference, and we just need to lock in because right now it's losing, you go home. So.
In Week 12, the Raiders cruised to a 45-7 second-round victory over the Utica Pioneers. In the win, the Raider defense came away with 3 turnovers while the offense accounted for nearly 600 total yards. Many big plays in this game, but here's the 3rd interception of the day coming from safety John Rowland.
Play there for Utica.
So here on 3rd and 9, this ball is tipped and it is going to be intercepted. Nate Palmer was the intended receiver, but great coverage by Ian Sexton. He tips that ball up in the air, and John Rowland from the safety position comes away with the 3rd turnover in the game for the Purple Raiders as this defense continues to feast, and with 4:08 left to go in this 3rd quarter, Mount Union comes up with yet another big defensive play.
Week 13 saw the Raiders in a surprising road matchup in the NCAA quarterfinals, but nonetheless, Mount Union came away with a 22-6 road victory over the Delaware Valley Aggies behind another dominant defensive performance. Sophomore linebacker Rossi Moore put the cherry on top in this one, with this game-clinching safety in the 4th quarter. The pass from his own end zone. Now pressure coming, and here comes the safety. The cherry on top right now as Rossi Moore comes up with the sack in the end zone.
Semifinals, Mount Union.
Could very well be, as the Raiders are just 2:39 away from a victory. Waving towards that Delaware Valley sidelines is that Raider defense who has come to play here. And finally, last week, we saw the Raiders prevail in a back-and-forth affair 34-31 over the Wartburg Knights in the national semifinals. After the teams combined to score for 30 points in the 4th quarter, it was running back Tyler Echeverry who scored the game-winning touchdown from 3 yards out with 31 seconds remaining in the contest. Here's the call that put the Raiders back in the Stagg Bowl.
Timeout remaining as Plunk takes the snap, hands it off to Echeverry. Echeverry bounces forward, doesn't get it, he does! Echeverry with a touchdown!
30 seconds left! 30 seconds left, Mount Union's up by 4 points. Pending the extra point.
30 seconds left to go here. Echeverry bounces it in for the score.
Jacob getting a taste of what BW was like.
As we can see, it's been a long, hard-fought journey for the Raiders this season as they search for title number 14 here against the North Central Cardinals. WRMU is proud to be a part of Raider football as we wish the team the best of luck in their matchup with North Central. Special shout out to all those involved here on the WRMU broadcast this season, including our broadcasters Gabe Baker and Bob Boyer, along with our board ops Sean Harris, Luke Dieter, Max Dudak, and Zach Barnett. And stay tuned here on 91.1 WRMU for coverage of your Mount Union Purple Raiders as they battle for title number 14.